Now, Malaj, kindly, Malaj, may I start with Malaj? I just want to make one short point with regard to Section 3E, capital E. Malaj. Now, three aspects that your Lordship may note. My learned friend gave the impression that in future, if any tribal wants to make a dedication, he can't make that in respect of a scheduled area. Now, point number one, this does not only affect dedications in future, it also affects prior dedications which are made in the form of a waqf. So therefore, Section 3 is retrospective, and any scheduled tribe Muslim who makes a dedication, that dedication will be void. Point number one. Second, my learned friend said that this is meant for the protection of tribals. Far from that, my lords. The effect of Section 3 is that it does not protect the right of, my lords, a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe, Muslim tribal, but its effect is to take away his rights under Article 25 and 26 to make a dedication. So therefore, far from protecting a right, it effectively takes away a right. Point number three, my learned friend said this is meant to protect tribals from illegal alienations because tribals by their character are vulnerable in those particular areas. My respectful submission is, Malaj, the Act does not, Malaj, prohibit transfer. So therefore, transfers can still take place. The effect.
There are other acts which take.
Maybe.
There are many state acts which take care of.
I'm on the validity of 3D.
Prohibition as well.
I'm on the validity of 3E because what I'm saying is the effect of 3E is only this, that a Muslim tribal cannot create a waqf. Now, therefore, my lords, if the object was protection of tribals, and my learned friend said in the course of his submissions that this is only to protect tribals from illegal transfers. I am saying this does not protect tribals from illegal transfers at all. So that is not the object that is subserved by 3D. By 3E, the only object that is subserved is that a Muslim tribal is singled out in the sense that he cannot make a dedication as a waqf. So therefore, this directly impinges on Article 15.
Yes.
Now, interestingly, the learned Solicitor General, Manoj, also said another thing. He said, what stops if he wants to make a dedication, he could make it in the form of a trust. That is what the learned Solicitor General said, Manoj. Then, Manoj, how are you protecting the tribal from any fraud? The fraud that you seek, according to him.
No, he did not make that argument with regard to 3E. He made that argument with regard to deletion of Article 104.
So therefore, let me, Manoj, let me therefore deal with the provisions of the Act. The Act 3E does not prohibit a tribal from registering a trust if he wants in the form of a waqf, because that's what the proviso to Section 2 said that your lordships have already seen. Now, if that be so, then how are you subserving this particular object of protecting him? Well, I hope I'm being able to make myself clear. So all the submissions in defense of 3E, well, do not really muster or pass the test that my learned friend has sought to articulate. Now, fourth and lastly, Maloj, and I am done with Maloj 3 so far as 3E is concerned. Maloj, what is discrimination only on the ground of religion? Is there any similar provision in relation to any other member of the scheduled tribe where it is said that if, Maloj, a person who is a Christian or a Hindu belonging to scheduled tribe, if he makes an endowment, that will be void? Why, Maloj, are you singling out only waqfs? This is, Maloj, discrimination.
This is already argued.
Only on one ground. So, only on the ground of
civil has argued it in the opening argument.
Now, second point, Manoj, on limitation. I'll just be brief, 2 minutes. Now, the point on limitation that was made is that so far as limitation is concerned, under Section 107 and read with 108, it applies equally to both sides. This is factually wrong. Kindly see, Manoj. First, if your lordship would be pleased to have Section 6. If there is a challenge of the 2025 Act, Manoj.
Yes, Section 6.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
If your lordship sees, Manoj, subsection 1 of Section 6, the title is Disputes Regarding Waqf. Now I'll leave subsection 1 out. Kindly see the proviso. Provided that no such suit shall be entertained by the tribunal after the expiry of 2 years from the date of publication of the list of Waqf. So there is a limitation of 2 years if you want to challenge the declaration of a particular property as a Waqf. Now, under the second proviso, what it says is, provided further that an application may be entertained by the tribunal after the period of 2 years specified in the first proviso if the applicant satisfies the tribunal that he has sufficient cause for not making the application within such period. So, a challenge to a declaration of a particular property as a Waqf is left open-ended. It is 2 years plus make out sufficient cause. But so far as my lords other properties are concerned, including evacuee properties, 107 and 108. Now kindly see the effect. On and from 107, your lordships would be pleased to have.
Yes.
On and from the commencement of the Waqf Amendment Act 2005, 25, the Limitation Act 1963 shall apply to any proceeding in relation to any claim or interest pertaining to immovable property comprised in a Waqf. So, my lords, limitation under 107 is absolute. There's no sufficient cause. Now, kindly see the effect on evacuee properties. 108, special provision relating to evacuee Waqf properties omitted. Now, what is the effect? The declarations for evacuee property are age-old. 1950 to 1960. What happens on a declaration as evacuee property? The property vests in the custodian. Now today, my lords, earlier evacuee properties were protected by the old 108.
Yes.
Today, if I want to challenge a declaration of evacuee property made in 1955, because my reason to challenge the declaration only arises now. Earlier, I was exempt. That will be hit, my lords, by section 107. So I will have no remedy because evacuee properties were protected till the act came into force. I will have no remedy at all. That's what I have to say, my lords, on limiting.
Are you appearing on behalf of any person who is claiming an evacuee property?
No, in my matter, my lords, in my matter, my lords, but we have several other matters raised this point. I can point out from the pleadings. And my lords, we take this essentially as a class action. But be that as it may, we would be beneficiaries also as Muslims of evacuee Waqf properties. Now, last point, my lords, just one point. Sorry, my lords. I beg your pardon, my lords. 1,000 apologies and 1,000 pardons. Now, my lords, kindly see, my lords, the last aspect with regard to section 2 and the proviso. The portion, my lords, which relates to a trust. If I may just show that provision.
Yes.
Section 2, my lords, proviso. Where is that proviso?
Proviso that nothing shall.
Yes, my lord. Provided that, sorry, my lords, I've lost it in this. Where is the proviso? Just show us.
Provided.
Yes, I'm so sorry, my lords.
Second proviso.
Second proviso.
Provided further that.
Yes. Provided further that nothing in this act shall, notwithstanding any judgment, decree or order of any court, apply to a trust by whatever name called, established before the commencement of this act, or statutorily regulated by any statutory provision pertaining to public charities by a Muslim for purpose similar to a Waqf under any law for the time being in force. So therefore,
Yes.
the dedication, even in the form of a Waqf, according to my learned friend, can be registered in the form of a trust. If you register it in the form of a trust by virtue of this proviso, you will not be subjected to the rigors of the act. That is to say, you don't have to show that you're a practicing Muslim for a period of 5 years, etc., etc. Now, what is the object of the Waqf Act? The object of the Waqf Act is, my lords, not to discourage registration of Waqfs. You are effectively, my lords, telling every Muslim by virtue of this proviso.
Go and register a trust.
Sorry, my lords.
Go and register a trust.
Go and register a trust. If you register a Waqf,
I was only anticipating what is the argument.
yes, if you register a Waqf, you will be subjected to all these rigors.
And if you
So the
register a
idea-
public trust, you will not.
And you will not be. So the whole idea is to discourage registration
Thank you.
and not to encourage. My lords, I thank your lordship for your lordship's kindness, my lords. I'm extremely grateful.
All of us do.
Dr. Singhvi, now you will be responsible at least for one week of both of us in a partial working week. In court number 2 and court number.
Statement can.
Should continue
Yes,
this. Of course. Lordship may expressly say. Of course, ma'am.
yes.